Hey class, we're going to go ahead and get into part 5 of the math properties of different operations. Our last property we're going to talk about is the distributive property. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. This is from part 4. Here we go. Let me erase this. All right, here we go. So, again, the property we're going to talk about is the distributive property. All right. So to talk about the distributive property, you want to understand that means multiplication. Okay, multiplication. We're going to multiply some things. Okay, what are we multiplying? Here we go. So, one thing about the distributive property is we got to kind of think of a real world example real quick of a distributive property. So let's say we were in a class and I was passing out candy, right? And I gave everybody one candy. Here we go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. And then I come to you, whoever you are, right? You come to you, and I don't give you a piece of candy. I give everybody else a piece of candy except you. How would you feel? Well, you wouldn't like it, right? I mean, of course. I mean, I wouldn't like it either. I'd be like, "Where's my candy?" Right? Well, yeah, we got to understand that that's how it feels when you don't do the distributive property right. Okay, when you don't do the distributive property right. So let's go ahead and go through an example of this. We're gonna go through 3 examples. First example is 3. Open parentheses. Remember, when a number is right next to a parentheses, we know there's a dot there. We don't have to write the dot. Open parentheses, 5 plus 6, close parentheses. Now, we know we could use PEMDAS here. We could use PEMDAS here, do 5 plus 6. 5 plus 6, get 11. And then 3 times 11, right, and get 33. We could do that. But we don't want to use PEMDAS here. We want to use the distributive property. Okay, and the distributive property is this. We're going to go ahead and distribute this 3 to every term in the print. Remember, we talked about terms already. Terms are separated by what and what. Got to remember these things. Terms are separated by what and what. Addition, and multiplication. Okay? Terms are separated by addition and multiplication. And here we have an addition sign. So how many terms do I have in this parentheses? How many terms do I have here? Inside of the parentheses, how many terms do I have? 1, 2. And we're going to distribute this 3, boom, to the first term and the second term. Let's do it to the first term first. So 3 times, remember, times is here, 5. We're going to write that first. Then we're going to multiply 3, boom. 3 times what? 6. And we got to keep our plus sign because a positive times a positive is a positive. We're going to use our integer operation sometimes. In this case, we will need to use our integer rules. A positive times a positive is a positive, and we're going to multiply 3 times 6. All right, now by the order of operations, we do multiplication first. 3 times 5, we get 15. Plus 3 times 6, we get 18. Add these together. 15 plus 18, we're going to get what? 33. We can box it and boom in here. Box it, boom, because this is a numerical expression and we simplify. There's no equal signs. So understand we got 33. We would have also got 33 if we did 5 plus 6, got 11. 3 times 11, we also would have got 33. All right? But the idea here is the reason we're doing the distributive properties and we're learning it this way first, and we're going to go to our next examples, is because we won't always be able to simplify the inside using PEMDAS. So we got to use another method. In this case, the distributive properties method we're going to use. Okay? That's example 1. Make sure you have that written down. We're going to go ahead and move on to example 2. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to example 2. But we're still in distributive property. Example 2. It is 5 times, and we don't have to write times, open parentheses, 5, open parentheses, x plus 7, close parentheses. All right. Same thing here. We're going to distribute. 5 needs to hit every term in the parentheses. Okay, every term in the parentheses. So we're going to do, and actually, you know what? Let's do minus. Let's do minus. X minus 7. Let's do, yeah, we can do that. X minus 7. All right, so we got to remember 5 times x. That's the first one. 5 times x. We're going to write that here. 5 times x. Now, this is where our integer operations come in. A positive 5 times a negative 7, we're going to get a minus. We're going to get a negative because of our integer operation. Positive times a negative is a what? Negative, right? And that's our old guy that we were talking about, right? Positive times a negative, right? We get a negative. We got to remember our guys, right? Remember, he got punched in the eye. He's a sad guy. So a positive times positive, we get a positive. 5 times x. Positive times a negative, we get a negative, and we're going to multiply 5 times 7. Okay, what's 5 times x? We don't know what x is, so this is actually just 5x. And so we knew our answer was going to be negative. You can look at this as negative 5 times 7, or you can just bring the negative sign down and do 5 times 7 and get 35. Okay? So again, we're multiplying here. 5 times x, getting 5x. 5 times x and getting 5x. 5, positive 5 times negative 7. Negative 5 times 7. Negative 35. Okay, that's example 2. Make sure you have that written down. That's it. That's the answer. It kind of looks like, we need to do some extra thing. No, that's it. Because we can't do anything with these because this has an x with it and that has a number. We haven't gotten to that yet, but that's where we're going to leave that. All right. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to do one more. Actually, we might end up doing 2 more examples. All right, here's example number 2. We're going to move on to example number 3. Make sure you have this written down. Go ahead and erase it now. All right, example number 3. We're going to have negative 5, open parentheses, x minus 4. Okay, negative 5, open parentheses, x minus 4. All right, we're going to distribute property again. Boom. Negative 5 times positive x. Now, we have a negative 5, boom. Negative 5 times a negative 4. Negative times a negative is a what? Is a what? A positive. We know that. Negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 4, what are we going to get? 20. So we end up, we don't need that dot there, so we're going to rewrite this negative 5x plus 20. Box. There's no movement really here. But we want to say that's our final answer, negative 5x plus 20. Okay? And so you see how we need our different operations for integers of multiplying integers. And so that's what we use here in order to simplify this expression, in order to get this back using the distributive property. Okay? That's why we need that. All right? All right, so that wraps up part 5 of math properties of different operations. We discussed different properties such as the commutative property, the associative property, identity, inverse property, and now the distributive property. Thanks for watching, guys.